That today Nigeria is still struggling with those same issues. And in
June 8, 1998, however, changed all the calculations and saved Nigeria from a threat to its very existence. Abacha's death and his succession by General Abdul Salami Abubakar brought with it the fulfillment of the dreams of millions of Nigerians. Though MKO Abiola also died in suspicious circumstances during this period, Abubakar's government embarked on measures to heal the wounds, including the release of many people from detention and putting in place a transition program that returned the military to the barracks and enthroned a democratic government with Chief Olusegun Obasanjo as president.
I, Olusegun Obasanjo.
It is almost 20 years since that historic handover from the military to civilians, but many Nigerians are worried whether the bloody struggles and the supreme sacrifices of some of our compatriots were worth the trouble.
For those who died for this cause, they will never ever be forgotten, and their memory will remain evergreen. We fought. This is not what we crave for, where we are. But if we had not made attempts, we might have been worse off. So there is really no regret. The only thing is that for history not to repeat itself, Gani will always say that Nigeria is like a volcano that will erupt. We have to stop the killings. We have to stop this bloodletting. All these herdsmen, farmers attack. We have to stop it.
Nigeria is the biggest of all the countries in Africa in terms of population. It's the biggest economy. We have the most to lose, and we have the most to contribute to the continent of Africa. So I really think that we cannot afford to wallow in self-pity and be thinking things like it's not worth it, it's worth it. We have to focus all our energies on building this place.
There is nothing to regret about it. You pay a price for freedom. Freedom cannot be given you like a free gift. You have to fight for it. That freedom we continue to fight for it. Not just press freedom, but freedom for all Nigerians in various aspects of life. Today, we have a government that is civilian, but how much of freedom do we have? How much of the liberties listed in the Constitution do we have? The forces, anti-democracy forces are still around, and we must continue to fight. We must not sleep. It is a lifelong battle.
For many, though the military at every point of intervention claimed patriotism was the driving force, the incursion of the military in Nigeria's politics has impacted negatively on the nation's development.
Military coups and things, they don't bring stability. They may hasten a little bit of way, as I said, in some form of development, but it does not go. Such development can only be entrenched if and last longer if democracy takes over. Because each time a military government comes in, is instability. Whatever democratic government you have, provided you maintain democracy, is better than any form of removal or changing of government or regime through the barrel of the gun.
This corrosive underpinning of what the military has done for us accounts for the fact that we are having difficulties organizing elections, because we still have that mentality and that tradition and that attitude at the back of our mind. It is the reason why governors cannot tolerate opposition in their own states. Where look at what you call state assemblies today. Look at what you call state local government elections in Nigeria today. Do they look to you like evidence of people who are anything but just tyrants and dictators? Because how does it happen that in a whole state you organize local government election and the opposition cannot win a local government? Or you go to a national assembly and all that the speakers or so-called speakers decide is any speaker who annoys the governor goes away and a new speaker is elected, and speakers simply go to collect whatever is their due.
That you could have a country like this, that is blessed with everything you can imagine in terms of human resources. I don't even want to talk about mineral resources that a bunch of people who do not even know. Because if you interact with many of these people who led all these military coups, they didn't really have a lot in them to offer. And the fact that they have held us down over these years and still continue to influence the trajectory of this country is really unfortunate. Very unfortunately today, most of the ills that brought the military into governance, like tribalism, corruption, indiscriminate killings, and ethnic rivalry, are returning in full force. Has the country learned any lessons from the past?
It is a matter of regret for some of us in politics that from 1999 to now, to date, lessons, important lessons supposed to have been learned are not learned. Democracy, if it's mismanaged, it becomes civilian dictatorship. A faulty democracy, another name for it is civilian dictatorship. Democracy, you either do it properly or you are going to end up with a dictatorship. The separation of the powers has not worked. Judiciary, executive, and the legislature, it has not worked at all up till now. And once it's not working, then there will be dictatorship somewhere along the way. And this is why the governors in their own states, they became unaccountable, because the state assembly, which is constitutionally to check them, have failed to check them, or they can't check them because of the usual compromise.
Rwanda was made up like this. The people saw it coming. Ethnic, religious warfare. Nobody there to stop it. Chaos finally coming in, dovetailing into anarchy. We saw Bosnia-Herzegovina. We saw the former USSR, United Soviet Socialist Republic. People say, oh no, it can't break up. Today, how many countries came out of USSR? Even Sudan here, less than 4 or 5 years ago, broke up into Southern Sudan and Sudan. Nigeria almost broke up between 1967 and 1970. It took one who has said he was going to carry out a bicycle expedition against the Biafrans from the Nsukka axis. 3 years to know that you can know when a war starts, but you may never know when it will end, and the consequences. Little droplets of water build up oceans. You cannot treat eczema, you cannot treat leprosy with the medicine meant for eczema. It will not cure it.
We have seen a continued depletion of the human freedoms and liberties that democracy promised us in 1999. And the quality of leadership in the country has also continued to diminish, leading to the point today where the levels of the things we fought against are beginning to increase. The ethnicity issues, and don't mind the talk about fight of corruption, a lot of that remains. Citizens have not seen a realization of the promises made. Citizens feel cheated by the political leaders.
I don't think we're addressing our issues with the kind of maturity that is required. Yes, there's no question at all that some of the things that are happening are totally undesirable. For example, human life. It is irreplaceable. One human life is one price too expensive to pay.
that politics is about making our community better, not about making myself rich. I don't know whether Nigerian politicians really understand that. It is intolerable to have a country where a few people are very rich and don't know what to do with their money, are buying useless jets and parking them in airports at thousands of naira or dollars every day, while people are dying of hunger or dying of preventable disease. The dignity of the human person means wherever, if you live in a country and there are human beings that are living below human dignity, it is a shame on me and on all of us. For a nation that seeks a respectable place among the community of progressive countries, there must be a resolve to address these challenges.
I think that in another less than 10 years, the political coast is going to be so clear now that sooner than later, politics of ideas will begin to emerge.
Attitude is very, very important. So we must, as a country and as a people, if we want to make progress, change our attitude to politics, government, religion, ethnicity, and business. The other thing is that no country, no race, no ethnic group, whatever, can progress and prosper without some kind of moral or ethical code of conduct.
It will be tragic if we do have an undemocratic system of government come in this country. And I don't know if the country will survive that. My hope is that the political system will be able to function in such a way that the elections will help determine the choice of political leaders. The electoral process has to be able to filter out politicians that are not delivering, and citizens should be able to vote in candidates who represent their aspirations, and those candidates must understand that they need to respond to citizens' expectations.
The elite are the ones creating these issues. The ordinary Nigerian, strangely enough, seems to be wiser than us, seems to be more stable than us. We are provoking them every day. But they have now started to realize the power that they have. Even they realize that some of these problems cannot be solved overnight. They still groan about hunger. They still groan about this thing, but they know, they realize that things are being done and that tomorrow will be better. So democracy, no fear, no problem. It has come to stay.
The important thing is that Nigerians should be united to say enough is enough. We do not want further bloodbath. We do not want further divisiveness. We do not want further ethno-religious crisis. We do not want further elitist conspiratorial collaboration to subdue us, to marginalize us, to repress us, to oppress us. Enough is enough.
If God can take care of Abacha, and if I can put it that way, after the Civil War, Abacha's era was another dark. And if God can see us through that, I believe God will see us through any situation. The process of nation building takes time. And provided we are making progress, democracy is not a destination. It's a journey. Are we on the journey? If we are, there will be ups and downs.
On June 6, 2018, President Muhammadu Buhari recognized June 12 as Democracy Day and bestowed the country's highest honor on the presumed winner of the June 12, 1993 elections.
Today, I'm very happy to be present and to preside over the commemoration and investiture marking the formal official federal government recognition of June 12 as National Democracy Day.
Was that an admission that the military had wronged the Nigerian nation and there was a need for restitution? Was President Muhammadu Buhari opening a new chapter in a conscientious pursuit of the ideals of democratic governance? No matter the signals that the old symptoms that undermined Nigeria's democracy are becoming evident again, the patriotic commitment of Nigerians to democracy and good governance may hold the assurance that Nigeria will surely become Africa's poster nation of democracy, stability, and all-inclusive development, if only we learn from the mistakes of the past.
Welcome to Entertainment News, and I'm still your baby girl, Queenette Mokunta. And as usual, we give you interesting stories with interesting guests. But first, we'll be taking you on the stories. Arasta has emerged as one of the artists leading the global exportation of Nigerian music with her captivating vocals and endearing personality that has won the hearts of millions of fans. In another impressive display of her superstar status, Ira Star shared the stage with Coldplay's lead single, Chris Martin, for a rendition of her single Last Heartbreak Song featuring Jivon. The captivating duo sees Chris Martin play the piano and take Givon's while Ira Star delivers an a cappella performance of the singles of her recently released sophomore album, The Year One Turned 21. Ira Star's sophomore album received praise for showcasing her artistry as a singer, a hitmaker, and a superstar with global ambitions. The single is said to be on Coldplay's forthcoming 10th studio album, Moon Music, scheduled for release on October 4th. Ira Star's upcoming collaboration with Coldplay is another testament to her status as one of the fastest rising stars who is on the path to becoming a global superstar. Up next, popular reality TV show Big Brother Naija is back for season 9 as the winners for the season edition will walk away with a grand prize of 100 million naira and a new SUV. Bosola Dejumola, Executive Head, Content and West Africa Channel, MultiChoice, disclosed at a news conference in Lagos that the show would begin July 28th. According to Dejumola, this year's edition, which will run for 71 days, promises to be exciting and drama-filled. The 9th season of the Big Brother Naija show will be going beyond drama. We will be bringing the different blend of unique entertainment. The show will run from July 28th to October 6th. The challenging aspect of the show will be that the housemates will be going into the house in pairs and doing some of the house challenges in pairs. The show holds lots of fun, vibes, emotion, drama, dynamics, and intriguing twists, she said. I really can't wait. She added that the Big Brother Naija buzz, to be anchored by Toke Makinwa, will be available for lovers of the show to catch up with behind the scenes. There will be something that will be unrevealed from the night of the premiere on Sunday, July 28th. There's a lot of twists on this Big Brother Naija season 9. And our third story today is Nigerian music superstar Davido, Burna Boy, and Wizkid have received the highest nomination for the 2024 Africa Arts Entertainment Awards, AAEA. Davido was nominated in 12 categories, followed by Burna Boy with 10 nominations, while Wizkid was nominated in 7 categories. The 3 artists are competing in several categories, including AAEA Best Continental Male Artist and AAEA Continental Artist of the Year. The AAEA celebrates the achievements of African music artists, honoring their talents and success. Some categories of the award include Best Continental Male Artist, Continental Artist of the Year, Continental Album/EP of the Year, Best Continental International, Best Continental Afro R&B Hit, and Best Continental Afro Rap Fusion Hit, among others. This year's edition of the award is scheduled to take place on August 17th in Kenya. And finally, Nigerian-American actor and musician Rotimi Akinosho will return to the 7th season of the Paramount Plus and Showtime series. The Chi as a recurring cast member, Akinosho plays Charles, the erstwhile personal assistant to Pastor Ezekiel, who seeks a second chance in the church. Well, that's all we have for you in the news session. We'll be giving you interesting guests today after a short break.
Recently, the chairman of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, said with the latest increase in interest rates to almost 30% by the CBN will affect local manufacturing businesses, adding that nobody can create a job with interest rate of 30%. We are on the streets of Abuja to ask ordinary citizens what are their biggest challenges in their own businesses.
Welcome back from that short break. Like I said, we have a guest, and it's a female today. Surprisingly, she's a high person. Her name is Soft Girl. If you see her, she's soft anyways. And I'm sure you will find her interesting. Welcome to the studio, Soft Girl.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. Okay, can you tell us a little about yourself?
Okay. My name is Mwabunza Amarachi Rejoice, but my stage name is Hype Soft Vibe, as you heard. I am a student of IMT, Institute of Management and Technology, ENUGU.
Okay.
I'm 19 years of age.
Okay.
Yes, I look so mature, but I'm actually young. And basically, I just love music, and that's it. That's all you need to know for now, I guess.
Yeah, you're a hype soft girl vibe. So tell us about your hype girl soft girl vibes.
Okay, it actually started last 2 years at there's this club I joined in my school, CAF, Communicators Arts Forum.
Okay.
So it just started as something like play, and boom, I just started. My first mentor is AOH, Alaji of Hype. He's in Warri. Shout out to you. And I just started, like, so many people were like, okay, she's a girl, she couldn't do it. And I believed in my talents, because right from when I was small, I loved music, I loved dancing. My mom was like, when she was pregnant for me, when she passed music, then I will like shake or I will kick her. It's funny, but it sounds true though.
Okay.
And I got the support I needed from my elder brother.
Okay.
My friend Oz Drums. He's a very talented drummer. Shout out to you also.
Okay.
And for my family and God. And also so many encouragements I got from other hype men in ENUGU. And also from other DJ Evergreen. He was there when I started.
Okay.
When I started like from 2022, and that's it.
All right. So what's your real name?
My real name is Mwabunze Amarachi.
Okay, you're an Igbo girl.
Yes, I'm an Igbo girl from Enugu State, precisely.
Okay, you're saying something about music, and you know how to dance, and all the rest of them.
Yes.
10. I wanted you to tell me something about you in your hype stage and all the rest of it, because you were saying something about music and dancing. So tell me something about you in the stage and how you hype and all the rest of them.
Okay, about my hyping, I grew from 3 different stages. When I started off with the basics hype, like I was copying the kind of hype Emmy Black was, but I actually added my own ideas, because it's all about innovation. And then I further grew into the kind of hype you normally find in Enugu State. Then I decided that
you normally find in Enugu State.
Yes.
What do you mean by that? Like Igbo kind of, right?
Igbo kind of hype, yes.
Okay.
And I got so many advice, and I was like, okay, I needed something different. I wanted to be different, because I don't want to because if I'm continuing doing what everybody's doing, then they will just classify me as among the Enugu hype people. Okay. So what I did, I started searching. I went into Pokoli kind of hype. I went into Obi house. Okay. You understand? So I started getting my vibe from there, and I literally made my things different. That's why sometimes there are some things that came into Enugu that I introduced, and other hype men emulated. That, you know, I actually had to survey for other things to do, to bring it different, to make my hype kind of different.
Okay, other things like
vibe words. You know, in hyping, you don't have to talk much.
Oh, really?
Yes, you don't really have to talk much. You just have to scan your crowd. If you're in a crowd of elderly people,
yeah,
you should know that there are some words you're not supposed to pronounce. There are some words you're not supposed to say, especially married people. You scan your crowd. You make sure that you don't make noise, because some hype men do shout. They'll be like, wait. No, you don't do such. Some people just want to come to the club to listen to soft, gentle music, and use you as a hype man to make them relax. You understand?
Okay.
Then if it's for school, if you notice, like university-based school, all these students, like that's young adults, they prefer listening to all these, trashy words, like sexual kind of words.
Really?
I'm not really going to say it because other people, kids
understand.
might be listening.
Okay.
Sexual kind of words, so you know what to give to them. And also the trendy vibes, like you go on TikTok, you can listen to some hype from TikTok, you understand? Something that is trendy, give to them. Your public will like that kind of vibe. And then you have the middle class people, where you can remind them of, songs from 2010, songs from 2015, songs. And also Igbo men really like it when they are being praised, when they are being hyped.
Yeah, that's
you understand? True. So once you start singing all those songs, especially all these Igbo hyping songs, where you're calling him Odogu and all this kind of thing.
So you have to hype them according to their age and class.
Yes,
and all that.
yes, according to their age and class. So it's just basically about scanning your public. And then another kind of people I normally focus on when I want to hype is girls, because party no go vibe if girls no ding.
It's sure.
So it's when the girls start dancing, that's when the party is being hyped. You cannot just try to hype men alone. Men are being moved by what they see, and girls are being moved by what they hear. So when girls hear the vibe and they stand up and dance, men will see the vibe and they will vibe also with you. So that's it.
Okay, since you're giving us literally everything, I think I'm even calling short of questions to ask you.
Thank you.
Okay, so have you hyped in any special events? Have you hyped in school? Have you hyped in a club events? And tell us about it. How did you do it? For example, have you hyped in a birthday party?
Okay. Yes, and yes. I do MC birthday parties, but not like big birthday parties, just small birthday parties. And I also hype them. When we talk about house parties, yes, I've hyped them. And there was a time that ITEL came to our school, IMT, and they did a competition, amongst dancers and hype, and I won first place, best hype in IMT school. And I think that was like a stepping stone to my career, because he actually announced me in IMT and in ENUGU. And I've also hyped in outdoor parties, which is being hosted by CAF, Communicators Art Forum. That's the group I originated from. I've hyped in clubs. I've hyped in Cubana Club. I've hyped in Rewind. I've hyped in Ballroom. I've hyped in Elevator Lounge. I literally, let's say, I built a stamina in Elevator Lounge last year. I was there back to back in Elevator Lounge. I've hyped in at Knox. I've hyped at Knox. I'm currently working with Exodus. Where's the streets? Independence Layouts. I'd like to see you guys there if you want to come and see more of me.
Are you really doing that at our station? Really?
Yes. No. I'd have to advertise.
No.
We don't. Okay, my apologies on that. So I've hyped in it, and I'm currently working with Exodus. So yes.
Okay. So how lucrative is the hype business for you?
It's depending on season.
Okay.
You understand? When it's come to Ember month, it's wonderful, because you get back-to-back parties. People
Which is from September.
No,
October.
Actually from November, December, January.
Okay, festive period though.
Yes, festive period. That's when you see back-to-back parties, like people who have saved up from the whole year and they just want to go out and chill. You see back-to-back events, and money do come out. Like enough money comes.
Really?
Yes. Then during dry season, let's say April, May, June, that's when you notice that excuse me, that's when you notice that the country is quite hard and people are still trying to survive. People are still trying to cover up from what they spent during the festive season. So it's like kind of a dry season for
Okay, so like in the festive period, how much do they pay you? Because you said money comes big.
I'm actually collecting, like, for 2 hours of hype, what I normally charged is 40,000.
Okay.
Yes, for a wedding, for a birthday, for anything, 2 hours, 40,000. Then if you want to increase the hour, then it's depending on your pocket. You get, and then I also get money from people who have been impressed by my hype. You know, if you hype Odoguna,
You're going to hype me today, honestly.
You go pay.
What I
Sorry,
pay?
excuse me. Don't
What
mind,
I
it's a
pay?
joke. I will.
Okay, so how did you build your confidence? Because I mean, you're standing in front of lots of people.
I won't lie. Sometimes I do get shy. Like when I'm hyping, I do tend to like turn my back, and I'll be like, "You got this, girl. You can do it. What a man can do, a woman can do better. Stay strong." Yes, I always remind myself that I'm intelligent, I'm beautiful, I'm talented. I can do it. And not only that, I got encouragement from my friend. Like I said, Oz Drums. I got encouragement from my brother. I got encouragement from my family, from my friends, from my group. They always cheer me on. Like I have like a fan base who always cheer me on. They're always there. They always answer me. They're always like praying for me. Even my mom, she's not in ENUGU, but she's always praying for me wherever she is.
Okay, do you hype? Have you ever gone for an event where they invited you for children or something?
For children, have they? Yes, like during wedding ceremonies, children are often present.
Okay.
You understand? So yes, I've actually hyped where children are.
Okay,
And
so in wedding ceremonies, like you said, do they call the children outside for you to like hype there because it's wedding ceremony?
No. I don't, like if I'm being invited to a children party, I don't actually go all the time.
Okay.
You understand? Because my kind of hype, they might not understand it. You understand? I started off my hype in club vibe, adult stage kind of hype. But I can actually deal with children because I'm very good with children. That's why I'm saying that during the weddings, I normally crop out sexual voice. And I'll be like, fine babies, come and dance, come and move, come and dance. You understand? I know what the kids want and I give it to them.
Okay.
During the time. So, and it's dependent on the kind of music that the DJ plays, because the foundation of the hype person is coming from the DJ. If the DJ flops, the hype person might flop.
Okay.
You understand?
So you work hand in hand with the DJ?
Yes, it's a must. It's like, okay, in a situation where you have DJ, drummer, and the hype person, it's as if though we do share responsibility. Sometimes the DJ is the head, and the other time the hype man is the head. But basically, it's dependent on how organized the hype man is that you get a wonderful set. If the hype man normally goes out of the music, if the hype man normally goes out of point, if the hype man normally shouts, if the hype man does not give the DJ an interlude to play or the drummer an interlude to drum, then you notice that you yourself as an audience, you notice that there's a kind of disconnection happening.
Okay.
You get, so it's
but
like
you know, there's some
teamwork.
DJs that are like, no, they want to do this, or do you guys have
a meeting?
Yes, something like that.
Sometimes we normally have a discussion about that. You'll be like, okay, I want you to hype for 30 minutes and give me 1 hour to play.
Okay, so it's a low coordinated.
Yes, we actually do have meetings. Like, okay, or maybe if you go to this show and you didn't perform well, we'll call each other back and we'll be like, what you did here, I don't like.
So does it mean you go to shows with your drummer and your DJ?
No.
Okay.
I'm a kind of person that I can adapt to any situation, and I do normally come to meet the DJ out of respect, and I'll be like, hello, I'm the hype person, can we work together? This is the kind of way I hype. This is how do you play? You'll be like, okay, then we actually talk, even if it's like a 5-minute conversation there, so that I will not like provoke you. Or maybe this is the way you work with your hype man and I'm doing something different. You tell me how you want me to work with you. You're the one paying me, so I have to. You get, so that's it.
All right, we'll go on a short break now, and when we return, we'll have more of hype girl, soft girl. Welcome back from that short break. And before we left, we have Hype Soft Vibes, aka Soft Girl. We're asking her some questions concerning how she copes in the hyping and how she builds her confidence. And she's been giving it to us hot. But first, we have games to play before we go into other sessions of this particular interview. The title of this game is Spell the Word Backward. And the rules of this game is we are not going to spell this word for you. So you have to spell this word backwards for us. Now, Hype Soft Girl.
Hello.
Can you spell the word raw? Raw. Backward.
W-A-R.
And what's that?
Raw.
Raw.
Thank you.
All right. So another word. Can you spell the word pat backward?
T-A-P.
Wow. Okay.
Thank you.
Now, can you spell the word live? Like something is live on air. Backward.
E-V-I-L.
Wow, I think you need a high five.
Thank you.
Okay, now spell soft vibes backwards.
S-E-V-I.
Backwards.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm starting from vibes.
Okay.
S-E-V-I-B. No. Sorry, let me calm down.
Okay.
S-E-V.
It's your name though. And you know how you spell it, okay?
S-E-B.
Okay.
I-V. T-F-O-S.
No.
Is it wrong?
Yeah. Start again. Take it bit by bit.
F-T.
No.
I want to spell soft. Can
Okay,
I just
spell your name. Then you spell it backward.
S-O-F-T. Soft.
Yeah.
V-I-B-E. Vibe.
Okay.
E-V. No, E-B. I-V.
Okay.
F-T-O-S.
Wrong.
Wrong. Can I use a pen?
Oh, there's no pen there, though. No pen. Use your head. It's your name.
V-I-B-E. V-I-B-E. E.
Yes.
B. I-V.
Correct. That part is correct.
S-O-F-T. T-S. No, T-F-O-S. T-F-O-S.
All right.
Spelled it.
Okay. Let's go back to the question.
I didn't expect that.
Okay, yeah. So, how do you... Okay, let me take it this way. What training did you undergo before becoming a hype soft vibe?
What name
What training?
did I undergo?
Yes.
A lot.
Okay. Can tell me some of them?
Building my confidence.
Okay.
Because I'm a kind of shy type, and when I have anxiety, I tend to vibrate. Like, I do shake a lot.
Okay.
So
So you built your confidence first?
Yes,
Okay.
indoor. And
indoor?
Yes, I had to go back inside, breathe in, breathe out. Also, being able to withstand comments given to me by the public, because people generally, they are very mean.
Okay.
They're very mean. So there are some times that you are hardworking, you're trying your best, but you're new to that, and they don't understand how new you are to it, and they tend to drop bad comments. Holding and conducting my emotions. I'm very, very emotional.
Like you cry?
Yeah, we cry, baby. I cry for every little thing. I cry.
Okay.
Holding my emotions in the sense that sometimes I do get harassed by men.
I was actually coming to that question. You're running faster than me, but no problem. Continue.
I'm just saying, like, and it's quite draining. And also being able to be awake for like 5 to 8 hours when other guys, like everybody's sleeping. Like sometimes I'm not really invited to a show. I just go out. So I can be able to sustain myself, not like I'll be feeling sleepy in my job.
Okay.
You understand? My vocals, building up my vocals. Like some people do drop the comment that when I hype, I have a different personality than from when I'm talking. When you talk to me in person, like I do sound feminine, but when I'm hyping, I sound masculine.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You're going to hype for me.
I will. Understanding my relationship with God, because it's not because of doing what the world is doing. Like it will not prevent me from serving God in truth and in spirit. It will not prevent me from going to church.
Yeah.
It will not prevent me from praying. It will not prevent me from being modest. Sometimes I tend to, dress like them because, like I say, men are attracted by, men are moved by what they see. When they see like a fine girl hyping, they do get like, okay, let me know what this girl have intact. But sometimes modesty still applies.
Okay, but you said when you hype, you sound masculine.
Yes.
Okay, can you do a little bit of that now?
I'm shy.
Oh, please don't be. Everyone is watching.
All right, now one time, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is right now. This is for everybody outside there. Anybody we want pressure you this year, or you tell them, say, Imole me, Omo God in me. You can't stop my shine. You can't cut my light.
You actually sound feminine though.
When you hear me on the mic.
Oh.
Like on the mic, it's a different personality.
Really?
It's different.
Okay, like if there's music or something.
If there's music, if there's a good sound, it just comes. Like it's not like I can just throw it in anytime I want. It's when I'm being moved by the music. It comes. It's female.
Okay. So like as a lady, how do you cope with these night activities? I know you've said something about you staying up for 5 to 8 hours. I mean, tell us more about it.
It's quite draining emotionally, psychologically, health-wise, because most hype men do suffer from chest pain because of how they shout.
Okay.
And it's not everybody. I had to train myself, like in the sense of not shouting. I had to like be able to understand that hype does not have to do with shouting. But before then, I do have chest issue. Like from the shouting, my voice normally get drained.
Okay.
Then my chest will start paining me. You get emotionally is that you're feeling sleepy, yeah, or you can't sleep.
Okay.
Because you can't be sleeping on duty.
So how do you keep yourself awake? I mean,
I dance.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you hype a little and you dance with the crowd or something?
Yes, I go. I leave my stage. I go into the crowd. I dance with them. I vibe with them. I play.
Yeah.
And then I come back
to the microphone.
Come back to the mic. You get. So that's how.
But you take water though, don't you?
Yes, I'm always on water, not alcohol. Water.
Well.
Yeah.
But how is it possible though? You're in a party.
About the alcohol?
Yeah.
No, I don't take. Like I said, I built myself on a principle of being modest.
Okay.
And hyping alone in the club, according to what my mom told me, it does not say well of me as a girl.
Okay.
So at least let it be that the only thing they can talk about is that I'm showcasing my talents than drinking myself away. Like I do get requests like, come and drink with us, come and do this. No, I don't. I maintain
from
that.
Ladies or from the men?
Both ladies, both men. Come and drink, come and drink. I said, no, I don't take alcohol. I don't see myself taking alcohol. I'm not trying to sound like a saint too. But it's like, it's for what I decide to be. And I'm a non-alcohol person. Thank you.
But you take juice though?
Yes, I do.
So that means you take juice in the club?
Not in the club. I can get pressed and I will not have to drop my mic.
To go pee?
To go pee. You get.
So you can't take an excuse and
I can't.
And tell
it's
the
my
DJ
decision. But what if, like, when you are going out, someone wants to spray you bunny?
Oh,
Someone wants to say it for you.
So you hold your pee.
I tend to ease myself before getting on stage.
Okay.
So that's it.
You still don't told us the sleep part of it, because I'm curious. 8 hours of sleep is very, very important. Okay, and
I sleep
in the morning.
Yes.
Like throughout the morning period.
I'm a baker.
Okay.
So I do work morning and night. But it's not as if though like my hype work is every day. It's not like an everyday something. It's like weekends. You get. So when I come, I tend to like when the club closes from 4 a.m. So let's say from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. I'm done sleeping. Then I wake up for my day-to-day activity. So I still do.
Are you a student?
Sleep. Yes, I'm a student, but currently on IT.
Okay.
So that's why it's easier for me. But when I was schooling and hyping, I do like, it was not easy coming to the class and you have to still pay attention. Some people will be like, I have soggy eyes.
Yeah.
Like I look so drained. No, my eyes are emotional. Like they're naturally like this. So
okay.
And imagine having this kind of eye and still being tired and still looking tired. So it was not really easy. Come to the class being so tired. And sometimes I do get angry, like a little thing like this, I'll just, because of how
just
tired.
flared up.
Yes, because of how tired I do tend to be.
Okay. So how do you cope with the competition in hype business?
There's a saying that person will get talent, no they drag mic.
Oh, tell us more about it.
It's going to sound so annoying to so many hype men, but I do get competition a lot. I feel like, men do get threatened when they see a woman who does what they do and do it better.
Okay.
You get. So sometimes when I'm hyping, I do get like dragging of mic. It happens. But the only thing I can do is, because I'm a lady, I cannot compete.
So what are they threatened about though? Are they threatened that your hype is looking better, or people are vibing to your hype than theirs?
Sometimes it's about the vibe. Sometimes it's about what we make from it. Everybody's looking for money, so that's why I won't really blame them. When you're hyping, and sometimes I do it too. When you're hyping and you see everybody's spraying, everybody's dashing money, like the party is being boom, and you're like, okay, give me, let me test more, even if my transport, let me see.
Okay.
You feel me, right?
Yeah.
So it happens.
Apart from the amount they pay you.
Apart from the amount they pay you. Sometimes you actually go to clubs and you don't get paid. You just go to hustle.
Oh.
Yes.
Tell us more about it, please.
Before I started working with the company I'm working now, I wasn't a salary earner. What I do is that I just go to clubs because of how talented I am and how friendly I am with other hype men. They'll pass the mic to me.
So apart from clubs, you've not gone for any, maybe wedding party within the young age or something?
I do get invited for weddings.
Okay.
I do get invited for birthday parties. I do get invited for naming ceremony. But that's on a different level, because it's not something that you see every time.
Okay.
Something that comes once in a while. You understand? Because of the rate of competition. Like, everybody literally wants to hype. Both those who are talented, both those who aren't talented. Everybody wants to hype. You get? So the competition is really, really high, because out of 70% of hype men, out of 70% of people out there, let's say 45% want to hype.
Okay. So when you graduate, would you love to continue hyping?
You know, this is a question I should actually ask myself.
Yeah.
I will answer this. Yes.
Okay.
But I will have to minimize my club hype.
Okay.
What I'm trying to
Why
do now,
though?
in case I get married, it's not every man that can condone his wife going to the club.
You know, I was coming to that question. You're always running faster. But no problem, continue.
I'm so sorry.
No, continue.
These are the things I had to put into consideration, and these are the things my mom, because my mom actually, she's not really in support.
Okay.
She doesn't like it at all. She's always,
So how do you cope? Do you live with your parents?
No, I don't live. I grew up in Abuja.
Okay, your parents are currently in Abuja,
Yes.
and you're here in ENUGU because of school.
Yes.
Okay, so, but they know you still do this hype thing.
They know. Sometimes my mom will just wake up, like after 2 months of two of us agreeing that I will do it, she will just wake up one particular morning and be like, don't do it again, stop it. And I have to remind her that I have to, because it's my talent.
Okay.
It's what I love doing, and I don't want to be, vulnerable to men, and I don't also want to be what's the word?
But you know that men would actually harass you.
I think the word is independent.
Okay.
I want to be independent. I don't want to be dependent on a man. And I've seen something that is easier for me to make money from.
Okay.
You know, to me it's easy. It might not be easy to others because it's what I love doing. So I find it easy. It's like me making money easily.
Okay.
You understand?
So you were telling us about if you will continue.
Yeah. I might minimize my club going. Like I will go to hype based on invitation.
Like weddings,
birthday parties, outdoor parties, raves. It might also be nights, but like I will not just go like enter club and say I want to. No. It's when you invite me, I come. You pay me, I go.
Okay.
You understand? But you will not be seeing me like everywhere. Now, I'm still a student.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to survive. So by then, and also I told you I bake.
Yeah.
So like maybe after my graduation, like after graduating from higher institution, I can be able to set up a shop for myself. You know, with my baking, I also do small jobs with my baking and everything. Even maybe I'm also a mass communicator, so maybe I can also be working in other TV stations. Maybe not in ENUGU, but outside ENUGU. You get? So that time for club will be minimized because I will have other things to do, and I see myself focusing on God more. Then, by then. You understand? So it's just going to be like a touch of hype, a touch of hype, a touch of hype. That's it.
Okay. So what would you tell your fellow ladies that would want to do this hype thing with you?
If you want to, go for it, but just be prepared mentally and spiritually. That's all I have to say. Do it. Don't let anybody stop you and tell you that, oh, you're a woman, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. Just do what you want. If you love it, do it. If you can condone everything, if you are strong enough, do it.
How do you mean spiritually, though?
Not everybody that you meet is a human. They might come in human flesh, but they have other agendas.
Okay. Other agendas? How?
They might come to destroy you. Like they say that the devil cometh in the night to kill, to steal, and to destroy.
Okay.
You have other, ritual is like, it's in a high state. You get?
Okay.
You get? So, and there are some gifts that will be given to you that you should be able to say no.
All right. So you need to be spiritually strong.
Yes, you should be able to discern. Okay. Even if you are in a place where sins and atrocity is, you should be able to discern. You should be able to withstand and hold yourself. Like, you should not be like, okay, this person has this sin, I want it. Like, you should be able to control your urge.
Okay.
And you definitely see people that are fine. Oh God, fine boys will come around. Jesus. You have to hold yourself.
Are you in a relationship?
If I'm not married, I'm single.
Okay.
All
right, so you were saying something, yeah.
So, yeah, the spiritual aspect, and you have ritualists around. You guys pray, may God cover you. But if he go drop you off, drop you off, go come on your eye.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Soft girl vibes. Thanks for coming to the studio and sharing some insights in your hype business.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's all we have for you in the entertainment show today. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of them, including LinkedIn. I remain your girl, Queen Nwokonta.
Very unfortunately today, most of the ills that brought the military into governance, like tribalism, corruption, indiscriminate killings, and ethnic rivalry, are returning in full force. Has the country learned any lessons from the past?
It is a matter of regret for some of us in politics that from 1999 to now, to date, lessons, important lessons supposed to have been learned are not learned. Democracy, if it's mismanaged, it becomes civilian dictatorship. A faulty democracy, another name for it is civilian dictatorship. Democracy, you either do it properly or you are going to end up with a dictatorship. The separation of the powers has not worked. Judiciary, executive, and the legislature. It has not worked at all up till now. And once it's not working, then there will be dictatorship somewhere along the way. And this is why the governors in their own states, they became unaccountable, because the state assembly, which is constitutionally to check them, have failed to check them, or they can't check them because of the usual compromise.
Rwanda was made up like this. The people saw it coming. Ethnic, religious warfare. Nobody there to stop it. Chaos finally coming in, dovetailing into anarchy. We saw Bosnia-Herzegovina. We saw the former USSR, United Soviet Socialist Republic. People say, oh no, it can't break up. Today, how many countries came out of USSR? Even Sudan here, less than 4 or 5 years ago, broke up into Southern Sudan and Sudan. Nigeria almost broke up between 1967 and 1970. ENUGU, who has said he was going to carry out a bicycle expedition against the Biafrans from the Unsoka axis. 3 years to know that you can know when a war starts, but you may never know when it will end, are the consequences. Little droplets of water build up oceans. You cannot treat eczema, you cannot treat leprosy with the medicine meant for eczema. It will not cure it.
We have seen a continued depletion of the human freedoms and liberties that democracy promised us in 1999. And the quality of leadership in the country has also continued to diminish, leading to the point today where the levels of the things we fought against are beginning to increase. The ethnicity issues, and don't mind the talk about fight of corruption, a lot of that remains. Citizens have not seen a realization of the promises made. Citizens feel cheated by the political leaders.
I don't think we're addressing our issues with the kind of maturity that is required. Yes, there's no question at all that some of the things that are happening are totally undesirable. For example, human life. It is irreplaceable. One human life is one price too expensive to pay.
That politics is about making our community better, not about making myself rich. I don't know whether Nigerian politicians really understand that. It is intolerable to have a country where a few people are very rich and don't know what to do with their money, are buying useless jets and parking them in airports at thousands of naira or dollars every day, while people are dying of hunger or in dying of preventable disease. The dignity of the human person means wherever, if you live in a country and there are human beings that are living below human dignity, it is a shame on me and on all of us.
For a nation that seeks a respectable place among the community of progressive countries, there must be a resolve to address these challenges.
I think that in another less than 10 years, the political coast is going to be so clear now that sooner than later, politics of ideas will begin to emerge.
Attitude is very, very important. So we must, as a country and as a people, if we want to make progress, change our attitude to politics, government, religion, ethnicity, and business. The other thing is that no country, no race, no ethnic group, whatever, can progress and prosper without some kind of moral or ethical code of conduct.
It will be tragic if we do have an undemocratic system of government come in this country. And I don't know if the country will survive that. My hope is that the political system will be able to function in such a way that the elections will help determine the choice of political leaders. The electoral process has to be able to filter out politicians that are not delivering, and citizens should be able to vote in candidates who represent their aspirations, and those candidates must understand that they need to respond to citizens' expectations.
We, the elite, are the ones creating these issues. The ordinary Nigerian, strangely enough, seems to be wiser than us, seems to be more stable than us. We are provoking them every day. But they have now started to realize the power that they have. Even they realize that some of these problems cannot be solved overnight. They still groan about hunger. They still groan about this thing, but they know, they realize that things are being done and that tomorrow will be better. So democracy, no fear, no problem. It has come to stay.
The important thing is that Nigerians should be united to say enough is enough. We do not want further bloodbath. We do not want further divisiveness. We do not want further ethno-religious crisis. We do not want further elitist conspiratorial collaboration to subdue us, to marginalize us, to repress us, to oppress us. Enough is enough.
If God can take care of Abacha, and if I can put it that way, after the Civil War, Abacha's era was another dark. And if God can see us through that, I believe God will see us through any situation. The process of nation building takes time. And provided we are making progress, democracy is not a destination. It's a journey. Are we on the journey? If we are, there will be ups and downs.
On June 6, 2018, President Muhammadu Buhari recognized June 12 as Democracy Day and bestowed the country's highest honor on the presumed winner of the June 12, 1993 elections.
Today, I am very happy to be present and to preside over the commemoration and investiture marking the formal official federal government recognition of June 12 as National Democracy Day.
Was that an admission that the military had wronged the Nigerian nation and there was a need for restitution? Was President Muhammadu Buhari opening a new chapter in a conscientious pursuit of the ideals of democratic governance?
No matter the signals that the old symptoms that undermined Nigeria's democracy are becoming evident again, the patriotic commitment of Nigerians to democracy and good governance may hold the assurance that Nigeria will surely become Africa's poster nation of democracy, stability, and all-inclusive development, if only we learn from the mistakes of the past.
The nation in the last 20 to 30 years has been suffocated by a political class that put into primary line their own interests and that of their families. A nation that is so endowed with resources, with enough resources to ensure a comfortable life for most Nigerians, have simply turned into a nation of very few people and their own family. The level of poverty in this country, the disconnect between the government and the people who it's supposed to lead, the widening gap between the rich and the poor, the pervasive insecurity and unemployment in the country is enough to bring people out to the street. You can be in authority and in power, but it is only when people decide to fold their arms and endure the suffering which you inflict upon them, then that you will continue to do what you do. If you look at revolutions throughout the world, there must be an issue. In Tunisia, a young man called Mohamed Bouazizi was molested by a policeman, and he decided to burn himself, and that became a trigger that set the whole Arab countries ablaze in the name of what they call Arab Spring. In Sudan, it was about the rising price of bread and a discontent against the regime of al-Bashir became the spirit of the nation. People thought that from 2015, there will be a new spirit, a new order, a new government that will conduct the affairs of the state differently. But we have seen promises upon promises made by the present administration has never been fulfilled. And that is why I believe that our suffering, our hardship, our penury can come to an end once the people of this country decided that they must come out and fight this. And I believe that this is not the end, it is the beginning. The country needs to be reformed.
Good morning to you and welcome to Signature Television New Day, your go-to program for fresh perspectives about narratives across Nigeria and beyond. And of course, my name is Chigi Chiagorom, and with me in the studio is my co-host, Mr.
Joshua Oritogo. Always delighted to be here every weekend.
Actually, Joshua, I love pronouncing your surname.
I know, right? Oh, yes, there's one kind of finesse in it.
Hope you're feeling good.
Yes, I am, and you look amazing as always.
Thank you so
stop
much.
it.
All right, so today on the show, we'll be talking about organs that are important in the body. We're talking kidneys. We're talking prostate, especially as it concerns the male gender. What are these things? What are kidney stones? What are renal failures that have increasingly become common among the populace? Stick around and you'll get to know more after we get back. Newspaper headlines.
Welcome back, and now we're going to be going straight to the newspaper headlines for the weekend, and we're going to be starting with Independence. The Saturday Independence, just below the mass, we have exposed federal government loses 15 billion naira annually to dirty deals of illegal charter jet operators.
And still on Saturday Independence, we have Onyeka Onwenu, the elegant stallion, takes a majestic bath.
And for a hashtag that has been trending for the past few days, hashtag Igbo must go protest. Lagos government distance self from reckless, dangerous rhetoric. Obi insists government should investigate alleged threats.
And finally, on Saturday Independent, Abuja relatively calm as soldiers police patrol Kashi Karu Nyanya axis with a rider. Slight tension recorded around Wuse Berger axis.
Moving over to the Saturday Punch, we have military threatens to intervene as police crack down on protesters. Arrest 1,100. We won't watch you destroy Nigeria, CDS tells demonstrator, and opposition knocks Tinubu over killings and arrests.
Still on Saturday Punch, things fall apart. Lagos College turns war theater over provost tenure.
And just above the mass, we have sex should not be mysterious. Nollywood actress Bukola Ikumola says.
And finally on Saturday Punch, 3,173 Nigerian nurses, midwives moved to UK in 1 year, says report.
And moving over to the Saturday Vanguard, just below the mass, we have how a nation divided by hardship. How hunger protests exposed our growing divisions.
On Saturday Vanguard, day 2, protests, fire fizzling out. With a rider, crowds grow smaller, businesses return to normal in South. Armed forces will not watch while the nation burns, CDS warns. FCT police engage hoodlums in shootout.
And above the mast, Sawolu, the governor of Lagos State, has said, ignore Igbo must go report. Obi wants those behind campaign arrested and persecuted.
And finally, on Saturday Vanguard, on Dangote Refinery, USA, Spain, France, South Korea, Singapore, others listed among top 10 importers.
We'll be moving now to the nations. Saturday, we have military on standby to restore orders. CDS warns protesters.
Right above the mast on The Nation, Sanwo-Olu condemns threats to Igbo in Lagos.
And still above the mass, on page 3, Sanusi to protesters, don't be used to destroy Kano.
On a sad note, still on The Nation, row over murder of popular Ondo caterer, with rioters saying investigation reveals face-off with lover over unpaid debt, estranged husband, children, others demand justice.
And on page 6 on The Nation, I have African Central Bank governors push for lower borrowing costs.
And finally on The Nation, Nel Fund okays 2.5 billion naira for disbursement to 22,120 students.
Moving over to the Saturday Times, I have day 2 of hunger protests. Kanu Jigawa demonstrators defy coffee. Tong streets.
Still on Saturday Times, outrage. Arrest Igbo must go campaigners in Lagos. Atiku, Obi, others tell President Tinubu.
And moving over to the entertainment part, I have stop killing yourself over what people think of you, says Arya Star.
And finally, on the Saturday Times, diabetes patients bemoan 150% rise in cost of basic medications.
And moving over to the Weekend Trust newspaper, just below the mass, after day 2, what next? Sultan Khan wants immediate end to protests. Government must be sincere in addressing demands, NBA, and history of mass action in Nigeria.
And finally, on the Weekend Trust, inside Nigeria's unresolved murder cases, a day with Yobe's displaced persons.
And that will be all on the newspaper headlines. With us here in the studio to discuss this is no other person than Mr. Chris Maduka, who is going to be giving us deep insight on what he thinks on the newspaper headlines for today. Mr. Chris, always wonderful to have you here with us in the studio.
Thank you, and thank you for your coffee.
There should really be a drum roll each time we're introducing
Mr.
Chris.
We should have that.
Let's do that again.
Don't make me to begin to feel I'm anybody.
But then you deserve it.
But I think we are making progress. I thank God for another day is bright and early.
Beautiful.
Thank
Mr.
you,
Chris.
Joshua. Thank you. Yes,
okay,
anytime.
Just because of time, I would like to move on straight to what has been trending for the past few days from the beginning of this month in talking about the protest, the Day of Rage. It has begun. We've spoken about it countless times in the weeks to come, in the past weeks, and now it is here. We've seen what has been happening in the country, and moving just to the nations where we have military on standby to restore order. CDS wants protesters. What's your take on this?
They have been on standby. The military has been on standby. The video of locations where the protesters were permitted to show signs of, even on the roads, if you are moving on Nigerian cities, major cities, you see that military are ready and they are standby. And we salute their gallantry, their courage, and all that they've doing to keep Nigeria one. And then, of course, the idea is if the police report that they have been overwhelmed,
yes,
that's why they said they are working in synergy. They call on, they don't need the CDS to even begin to, all you need is IGP to say, my brother CDS will require you to deploy some of your men to help our men, because we are Nigerians, to quell this fire that is about to consume this nation.
Yes.
And that's very important. It's not unusual. So what CDS is doing is to warn, and you know what that means? It's no more like a tea party where you roll out the boys, the army boys on the street to control protesters. In all of us are Nigerians, and we know what the boys in green clothes.
Yeah, well, they're capable of.
So probably that's why the CDS is warning about it. So we all as Nigerians should take that warning seriously. And let the man who is taking his bath with his clothes on know himself.
All right.
That is not, whatever is happening now is not, and I guess it's not. And I'm not speaking the mind of the organizers.
But I guess that's not the spirit. Everything is against the spirit of hunger and hardships. We expect some sober atmosphere of passive resistance. If Nigerians are, as I employed, passive resistance, go to the streets, sit down and occupy this place. Not even say a word. Because somebody who is hungry and assess hardship don't have the energy to, because they're still saying that, and probably the government has not said anything. Why? They're expecting that these people say they are hungry and they are facing hardship. And the little energy they have in them will soon dissipate. When they dissipate it, and then they now get tired of and they will leave the street.
Right.
But if they had stayed passively and resisted what is happening, you wouldn't say they did this to you. They wouldn't be talking to anybody, and nobody will be talking to them. Even the ones who call themselves anti-protesting protesters, riot, will not even have anything to say, because like Chinua Achebe wrote in Things Fall Apart, you don't kill a man who didn't say anything to you. What do we say they did to you? So I think this idea of we no agree leads to more eruption of energy, negative energy that some other negative people are catching on.
Yes.
And everywhere start boiling.
All right, Mr. Chris, because we are made to understand that the military, they protect the territorial integrity of a nation.
Yes.
While the police is made to take care of civil issues within a state. Now, what are the rules of engagement, really? At what point? What are the things that need to happen before the army says, okay, now we're engaging? Yes.
They say if the total breakdown of law and order.
What does that really mean?
Kano has been boiling for the last 2 days.
Yes.
And Una said, you are protesting. Why destroying things? Why risking the life of because one bad apple. When we are moving as a mob, somebody loots, somebody burns a car, and that
it was really pathetic.
Believe me, there are police and army
the looting
around, and they start shooting into the mob because they won't particularly say they pin down somebody. The bullet can touch, whether it's a rubber bullet, whether it's canisters. If you are shot canister of a tear gas canister at close range, even the canister when it hits you can cause fatality. So this is why they should, any forest that do not want basket to enter that forest should not allow mushroom to grow there. If you do not want violence, you don't want police or the army to roll out the boys in the street, stop the violence. That's what we are preaching. Nobody, even Nigeria said, the Constitution said you are free to protest, but let it be peaceful. Now, is that peaceful that is relatively being challenged now? Even if somebody push you to make sure that the peaceful protest you have planned turns violent, you have a way of avoiding it.
Okay, Mr. Chris, I have two topics that caught my attention, but I want to start with the first one, which is how hunger protests exposed our growing divisions.
I thought you would not ask me.
I was going to ask.
No, let's quickly talk about that.
So please.
This is sad. And that has exposed, whoever is saying this, has gotten to know how the previous government of Nigeria has divided Nigeria along tribal lines so much that even when the Nigerians are dying of hunger and hardship, they cannot speak with one voice. But, they say but, some people sat somewhere and saying one tribe should leave their territory in the midst. And these are the people who think they love the government more. And these are the people where we have even their own people leading the riots.
Mr. Chris, so just to build up well, because you've already started touching the second part, which I want to talk about, which is the Igbo must go hashtag that has
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So please help us link the two of them together.
So why should somebody at this time, we are talking about hardship and hunger, what is more important to them is that Igbos must leave Lagos. Lagos, from all we know in the history of Nigeria, is a capital. It's not a capital. Capital. Let's define the difference. Capital is where everybody has power to exist. And it was founded on that premise. All our founding fathers. Suddenly, Lagos has gathered momentum, and some people who do not even know the history of Lagos are coming out to gather that some people should leave. And that is where, if what happened in the recent past, and some people are calling for investigation, some people have been killed in the past over election because they say, if you do not vote for their candidate, you die. And they targeted a particular tribe. Now they came back again, targeting a particular tribe, saying, you must leave. If we take it with we handle it with kid gloves. We are only saying that, we're only making one statement that the Igbos in Lagos are their own. Until you prove to them that whoever said this do not represent the opinion of Lagos and the Yorubas who are our brothers and sisters, anything can come out of it. And then there's high level of distrust that will come out of it, and then it will lead and, turn into something that in the future becomes very dangerous for everybody.
Very quickly, Mr. Chris,
Yeah.
do you think that this Igbo must go that is trending, you think it's a strategy to distract the NBAN governance protests? It's a deliberate strategy to distract.
The Igbos in themselves overtly have decided not to be part of the protest because they don't even know where they will start, what they will do, and they say Igbos, Igbo. Everybody has Igbo in their mouth. So they for once stayed back and let Nigeria sort this problem out of hunger and hardship without the Igbos. If they're able to do it, then it means the Igbos are walkover. That you can solve Nigerian problem without Igbos, you can have Lagos exist without Igbos, and have Nigeria exist without Igbos. But if the hunger and hardship problems and other problems happening in Nigeria, even in Lagos State, because Lagos is not isolated, it's all part of Nigeria, can go on, even when the Igbos didn't say a word, and they've been threatening to go, it means there's a bigger problem coming and should be handled. Until that is done, everybody who stays there means it might be the turn of the Igbos, like, Nigerian issue. Next time, the people may wake up and say, the Hausa must go. After all, the Igbos are not the only people who stay in Lagos. Then they wake up the next morning and say, Gala must go. When they begin to gradually hashtag Igbo go, Igbo left, Hausa go, Hausa leave, then they remember that if you ask everybody to go to their grandmom or grandfather's house, you won't find anybody at home.
True.
Everybody has where their mother came from. True. And that's where you visit. So if I come to your house, I say, go to your grandmother's house. And then somebody whose house his grandmother will come to yours. We won't find anybody at home. So let us know that God put us here as brothers and sisters to exist. All this trash is distraction from politicians who will go to Abuja, sit together and eat Nigerian money.
Which was what I was trying to drive at. Is this a deliberate strategy to distract the protest by some group
Maybe,
of people?
but then you are using what you call you use pepper, Cameroon pepper, to cure madness. Because what you are using to cure madness is not, because you can't use this kind of solution or propaganda. So you are creating more problem that will ricochet into a bigger snowball into things that can even become more than hardship and hunger protest. So politicians go to Abuja, sit together, speak one language, chop Nigerian money. Igbos, Hausa, Fulani, Kanuri, everybody, they speak one language together. When there is problem, they'll go back to their cocoons and tell you, Choma, Joshua Ritogun is not your brother. And you agree? For how long can Nigerians do this? We have one common enemy. The leadership. Once we get it straight, people will begin to think. We exist, we grew up in Nigeria where we go to every part of Nigeria to pursue our destiny. We make friends. That's what the Nigerian Youth Service Corps, National Youth Service Corps, has brought I served in Yoruba land, and after that, I got job in Ibadan. I stayed extra 10 good years of my life in Ibadan. All my friends are Yorubas. And over time, I worked in all parts of Nigeria, and I made friends across the border. But when it comes to along the line, people, we sit down and talk as people who have been to school. When we only realize among ourselves, the politicians can't come and divide us. We are friends. We are Nigerians. Let them chop their money. And when Nigerians demand accountability, let them not come back and tell us it's tribal because I'm not this. At the time you are in Abuja, earning what they call mountainous allowances, and who did you share? Did you share with your tribe? You put the money in your account, send your children abroad, everybody, and hunger and hardship strike come. Somebody is going to tell somebody that this one is Yoruba, this one is Gala, this one, and you listen to them, then they will use us for life.
Mr. Chris, thank you. But then again, I know the protest is one of the biggest problems we have currently right now. But then again, another topic or another headline that caught my attention is 3,173 Nigerian nurses, midwives moved to UK in 1 year. This is alarming for our healthcare sector.
Even more we leave. As we are talking, this month that just ended, we just before August end, you have more than this figure moving.
Sure.
We on this station discussed about the verification exercise, and they were talking from both sides of their mouth. The Nurses and Midwife Council. We are doing what no one understand until the National Assembly said we did not permit that, and they came back and all. So why should people make the money they earn here? It's not enough. They're not value. And then one thing about life is you go to where your services are needed and valued. Somebody told me I can only serve where I'm appreciated and valued. So if Nigerian nurses are not even, some people call them nurse Elisa here, they quarrel at people and they suffer, stay all through their service and nobody value them. And if they have opportunity of traveling, you want to put clog at the wheel of their progress. They are not, nurses are not the only Nigerians. It's just another figure, imagine. If you know the number of doctors, and then we are talking about nurses and doctors. There are other areas of medical sciences. If you know the way they are needed abroad, the radiographers, the lab scientists, and all the people that are living, it's just these ones that are the ones we know. Nobody has documented that. There is issue of brain drain. The people that are doing hunger and hardship strikes are the ones who do not have money to jackpot. And I said it. The ones who have sold everything they have and jackpot are there, sending back money, which when they fail to send for 1 month, hunger and hardship, because they need to send this money in dollars. The same Nigerian government said they won't be paying us dollar to go and exchange at market rate. Now, if they send you $100, the bank that receive the money will give you what they feel is the value of $100. Your people send to you. Is it not? Is so many things happen in this country, and we are here. So why won't people want to go? What has government done in the last 1 year to make Nigerian young people not want to leave Nigeria? Nothing. And the ones who found out that they can't go have started hunger and hardship strike. And the people are threatening to kill them. And one woman in a viral video said, this one alive. He was talking directly to the army people. He said, this one alive. All this one, what they hear? What are you waiting for? You better shoot also. Because this one where they were living is not life. That will tell you. Somebody tagged it, courageous woman. But that is it. We really need to replan. We really need to, because I don't know.
Mr. Chris.
It's not that it's hopeless. Let people not say. The idea is the young people that they have this energy that are boiling and they want to use it. What are you doing to calm it until they begin to harvest? And for a long time, this distrust, governments say one thing, there will be no result coming out of it. They are in the age where they want quick action. So Put some quick things they can see before you go on the long term. Start some short-term plans that the youth can see. And they don't want, Nigerians are so proud. They don't want to give them 10,000 naira. 10,000 naira for an average Nigerian youth cannot load call card data for him to browse the net, because that's what they're looking for. So do we have free data where they can even go online and do some business and earn some?
Develop themselves as well.
But they have to load the credit by themselves. They can't even have a where if you go there as a young person, you can have free Wi-Fi.
All have
And
been
then,
sold off.
everything is.
All has been
So
sold
it's, oh God.
All right, Mr.
It's-
Chris, before we delve into all those negativities, the question on everybody's lips right now, especially with Weekend Trust asking, after day 2, what's next? Because there are a bit of a concern here and there that the protests are actually losing steam. You know, people are gradually going back to their daily lives. So after day 2, you think they have the energy to sustain for another 7?
No, that's why I said the federal government are just watching. But somebody said he watched their energy. People are hungry. And they have stood out of the street for first day. Police shot at some, tear gas some walk home. You know, the rain beat some. And then the second day they came out again and the houses are. But let me tell you, let not this permutation that they will soon fizzle out. There are some states in Nigeria that have been a little like time bomb that have been waiting, and those ones that have been ignited. So some other people that even were waiting for excuses not to, those states can die down. So let the security apparatus beam their searchlight up those states that have the potential to keep boiling till infinity. And they are showing signs. From what is happening, even as of yesterday evening, you find out that they are not looking like people who will
back down.
What I saw, somebody said that it became so bad that they are now breaking slabs that government used to cover gutters. They are breaking it and taking out the stones and rebagging the stones to sell. It means slabs that government made on the highways. People are so hungry that they're breaking the slabs into pieces with a Monday hammer and taking out the stones out of the slabs and packaging them and reselling. That's that bad. So it is not this political thing that there are, don't take it for granted that the people are going to quell that. Because my people say, when you see a fire, you know, doused and you see ashes, don't put your leg there and say the fire has quenched you. No, when the ashes and
and the charcoal,
the one that is really bearing the,
and that's the one that
and only a fool will use a leg to go and say there is no fire here again, and you just put. Let the government not try that. Let them still pursue the path of negotiation. Whatever they are doing to quell this should continue. Do not assume that they will soon tire of.
Mr. Chris,
yes.
Of course, one of the major purpose and aim of the new day is not just to educate people and enlighten them about trending things, it's also to talk about health.
Yes.
Now, on the Saturday Times, diabetes patients bemoan 150% rise in cost of basic medications.
And then it's just like you said, when the people who managed to get their voice heard,
yes,
and probably got one reporter who they managed to find a way of making him publish their story. What of the kidney failure patients? What of even the malaria? That is almost 95% of Nigerians have malaria.
It's endemic.
What of the people that are having kidney? What of the people that are having so much other issues? Medication. It's not just that the cost of medication has risen. The rise of fake drugs. Most of the original manufacturers of these drugs has left the shores of Nigeria. Do you know? And they trust Nigerians. The number of fake drugs of these original brands in Nigerian market is more than the ones that are original that exist. So you even at the high cost, you still buy diabetes drug that when you take it for 1 month, it's like taking chalk, and then you are hastening yourself to death. So there is a call on the government. Imagine the number of people who you look at, you find yourself sick in Nigeria, you are hungry. Probably you have a budget of 10,000 naira for you and your family, and you have diabetes, and one diabetes drug might cost 20,000. You and your family, you look at the children, if it's the father that is down with diabetes, you now decide to say, children, just use this 10,000 naira, buy food and eat, let me go. Because the man already see that he's going. That's how what is happening. You begin at that point to write your will, because there's no hope. There is no hope. You know, and these are the point we advise Nigerians to think about registering for the health insurances. It might help, but then even the money to register become another thing.
I was going to get to the national health insurance.
Yes.
Because you find out that the cost of healthcare generally, not just medication, is on the rise.
Yeah.
And according to some reports, it's only about 5% of Nigerians are covered with the health insurance, and most people pay from out of pocket. Now, what are the things you think, not just government, civil society, because I've seen from, happenings before now that you must have to mount pressure on government before they do anything. They usually are not proactive. Now, what are the things that need to be done to see that more people are covered in the national health? Because paying out of pocket, it's not just disastrous. It really doesn't make sense, especially in this time. So what are the things that need to be done to see that more people are covered in the national health insurance?
This is a country where we don't have data to work with. Because if you have...
But then what is the National Bureau of Statistics doing?
They cannot gather. What I mean by data is, for instance, you come to a city like ENUGU, and you said the number of people who require a health insurance are, for instance, 500,000 people, and they are already profiled.
Okay.
And the government has this data. And a health insurance company is giving this data to work with these people and profile them. Now, some people require you, they say there is already existing and they have the offices everywhere, require you to walk in there and then pay, register and pay so that you start enjoying. And some of them last either 1 year, you pay another one, they renew or whatever. I don't know how they do it. But then only the Nigerians who are employed with big companies have automatic health insurance. They tell you now this you go to the hospital with your family, you are treated. But that's why 5% is I think is the right data to show. I will tell you the number of Nigerians who are paying out of pocket. It still boils down, the buck stops at the government. Ministry of Health, what are they doing? What is Ministry of Health at state? Because the local government now that are trying to be autonomous are linked to this. These are the people closer to the people. If you ask people, you require health insurance, register with your local government. The local government will have data that will submit to the state. The state will process it and know how they will deal with, they will profile all the health insurance companies and probably divide the way they do the pension and probably say, this particular one, handle this particular health insurance, handle this, profile, and let's see how much. And then that's where the government come in. Instead of all the money we're talking about, the government said, out of 500,000 citizens of Enugu State I'm giving you, how much do I pay for them? And if we call the people and say, I've paid for health insurance of 20,000 naira for you, which will last you for 1 year, if you are sick. And then the health insurance now will have to be, if you suffer major sickness, that's where the issue is. Because most of the health insurance will treat malaria and headache. But when you have to do surgery, That's where the issue, they say they are not covering. So it should be comprehensive. It should be
Mr. Chris,
yes.
On the Saturday Independence, boldly written is exposed. Federal government loses 15 billion naira annually to dirty deals of illegal charter jet operators. Now, what's your take on this? The federal government has, okay, let me not give my own opinion on this. I would just like to get your own perspective.
15 billion
annually.
My own self is that the government loses more than this. And they're just being conservative with the figures.
Yes.
Because if you know, whenever it comes to jets, aeroplanes, and all that kind of thing, their status are so high and the money involvement. So, what kind of dirty deals? When figures come that the governor hired jet to go to Abuja for a meeting and come back, when the jet is at the airport, that they didn't move, and the papers move in and out, and the money is released, that's part of dirty deal. Or the governor want to travel, or any other person, senators or the big, you will pay and inflated if they charge probably 15 million for 30 minutes jet flight to Abuja from one location, and they put it at 60 million, and somebody is paying that money. So we are not, when you say dirty deals, if you rate deals that are in Nigeria, I'm sorry to say, if you rate it in how dirty and the ones that are good, if you put it side by side, I think why we are even suffering and why we have hunger and hardship is that the deals we have in Nigeria, we have over 90% of them that are dirty. So they don't even have chartered jets and they do dirty deals there. Those are areas that the common man don't even have. This is an exposure.
I was going to get there.
Common man doesn't even know it exists.
Because look at what the writer says. The writer says aircrafts used for money laundering, drug trafficking.
Beautiful.
So the question here is, so who are the people involved? When you say federal government loses, it's as if you're accusing people outside of the federal government. But when they are saying that these losses are as a result of drug trafficking, money laundering, I mean,
first time as a Nigerian who takes interest in it was during the reign of Goodluck Jonathan. Nigerian government wanted to purchase arms from South Africa. Remember at that time, it was rumored that it was a private jet of the president of Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria that was used to move to South Africa to do this and move. And because some people who wanted to frustrate Goodluck Jonathan were, if we go through the official way, so he wanted to do it there, and they still went at the back too. And there were a lot of things that our government tried to quell down. Telling you that those jets that park at the airport, that are private, and once in a while you find them move, only they know where they're going because they are private. Only the people that are authorizing them, giving them landing and flying permissions know where they are going and what they are carrying. It's not like a bus you enter, you're moving from Abuja to Onitsha, and you pass more than 1,000 checkpoints where they search, stop and search. So the one jet who leaves Nigeria, lands in South Africa, delivers his good, come back. So the security search for all these things, what they use it to do, money laundering, and somebody can move any amount of naira. If you carry it in Ghana, must go and enter a Kennedy Chuku from one point, they will search and get you. And when they see you, as every Nigerian will put their hand and say, hey, we never know you are carrying money and we're inside the same vehicle with you. Because the police will always find, and if you pass, before you pass 20 checkpoints, one of them will insist what is in this bag. You will be saying nothing, nothing. Say, we want to see it. That's kind of thing. It's not the same thing with jet. And that's why you're wondering. Nigeria is one of the countries in Africa where you have highest number of private jets, owners and operators. What do they do with it? Where are they flying to? You see, they use it and fly around Nigeria. That means, how many of them have you seen flying around Nigeria? That means they are there for some other purposes, which only the security apparatus of Nigeria will tell us. So sometimes we get to know these things happen. And this is part of the things. And this number, the estimated amount of money Nigeria loses to it, well, it brings us back to hunger.
Finally, Mr. Chris, I would just like to, I would like us to end the newspaper review on a very light note. And so I'll go to the Saturday Punch. Sex should not be mysterious, says the Nollywood actress Bukola Ikumola. Please, during our time growing up, I knew sex was a sacred thing, but now we're hearing now that sex should not be mysterious.
Well, when you were growing up, I grew up before you. So within my own time, you don't even mention, even as I'm looking at you, you can't even say sex. If you say sex, you're like, Joshua, a young boy like you, mentioning sex. But then the dynamism of life that we have to live with, every age and time, have to. If you are living and find God keeping you, you must learn and do balancing act. You don't come and say during our own time, you're only telling them how old you are. You manage to play along. So during the time, it was begin to teach children sex education from home at very early age. So they don't learn it from outside. It begin these days that even children can sit at home and watch some film that have had languages and with their parents, and they talk about it. So there's no more mystery about it. The only mystery about it now is that, which is the mystery behind the mystery, is how this generation of Gen Z use and apply sex. It's because once there's that freedom that is not guarded, it leads to abuse.
Sure.
If you see the American system where they say from the word go, freedom, freedom, freedom. Now, you find some people there, that's what led us to LGBTQ.
Plus.
And plus.
The plus
Thank
is
you.
important.
Now, what does that mean? When you give so much freedom, that's why you say democracy in Africa should be different. It should be guarded democracy. Some kind of, you don't give, there's a proverb in my place, say, well, I always want to say it in my language before I translate in English. If you have a young boy, you always bring the person closer with advice. If you allow the man and say, feel free, do everything will add to your life, go soil your loyal oath, go everything and do, the person will not survive.
Yeah, irreparable damage.
He will die because the energy will use it and push, and that's what we are doing now. Why we need to not to simplify and demystify sex is like, if you do it, our present level of development, it will backfire, and you might walk out in the street and see people, 2 or 3 people, having sex in the street, and it will be an abomination for people like us who grew up earlier than you guys. You know, I say, hey, my eyes have seen abomination, take it away.
We pray, never
And
gets to
that is
really.
all we were going to be taking on the newspaper review. We've been discussing extensively on the newspaper reviews. Of course, you can rewatch this on our YouTube channel at Signature TV Official, and you can go to our website at www.signaturetv.org to get more information and more news and more happening, even on the End Bad Governance in Nigeria protest. Of course, we've been discussing this with no other person than Mr. Chris. Thank you very much for coming to the studio.
Thank you. I'm excited always being among beautiful people like you. When I grow up, I would like to be like you.
And please stay tuned. Coming up next, we're going to be discussing a lot about health. We're going to be talking about your kidney. We're going to be talking about the prostate and how it affects the men or the male gender. You want to learn, you want to stay glued, you don't want to miss this. We'll see you after the break.
And if you're still here or just joining us, this is still New Day on Signature Television, and we are back with Signature Saturday Retrospect, where we'll be discussing topical issues that were discussed from Monday through to Friday. And first up on Monday, on Signature Morning, we discussed protests to be or not. That was just heralding the, end bad governance protest. And with us in the studio to discuss was the convener of the indigenous people of Nigeria in the person of Nick Irewu. And he had some interesting insights to share with us. Take a listen.
Okay, first off, of course the protest will be because indeed the hunger is real, the hardship is real. You said if he was cooked somewhere and then dished to Nigerians. Of course he was. On that very 29th of May 2023, the president now, who was being sworn in then, declared this very hardship and hunger that we're faced with today. And since that declaration, this country has never remained the same. And there's no end in sight. While the president and the leadership around him keeps telling Nigerians that, oh, give it some time and there's something positive coming and all of that, tighten your belt. But they are living large. And one is wondering who is fooling who, while the people are going through this excruciating acute hunger in the land. The leadership of the country seem nonchalant and unperturbed about the cries of the people. So is it to be or not to be? One, it is a legitimate and constitutional right of Nigerians to protest against the ills in the land. We couldn't keep quiet and allow all of us to go, get finished before we speak up. Most times when people say Nigeria first, you wonder, how do you mean Nigeria first? Is it Nigerians first or Nigeria first? And I think in this case, we should put Nigerians first because it is Nigerians that are going through this hardship. There has to be Nigerian citizens first before the nation Nigeria will exist. We cannot say because, that there are certain things they want to do in the name of Nigeria, they now ignore the cries of the Nigerian people. I think it's an aberration. And indeed, I personally, I support the protest, of course, but it has to be peaceful. Because yes, while we protest, we're not out, or we shouldn't be out to burn down our country, all right? Because if we didn't burn down Nigeria when the 2023 election, that sham that was conducted, and the announcement at 4 a.m. happened, if we didn't burn Nigeria all this while, we won't burn Nigeria now that we are just crying out against the ills, against the hardship, against the hunger. And this is not like a case of, there's something being done, all right, to possibly ameliorate the state of hunger in the land. There's nothing being done. And it's just proper that we go out and cry out so that if in case, as some have said, including Senator Ndume, some of them have said that the president seems to be isolated away from the reality in the land, then this protest is targeted at calling the attention of Mr. President to know that the people he is leading, that they are not finding his leadership, palatable at all. And indeed, the president, before he became president, has been known with protesting against the ills like this in the land. We hope that within these 10 days of rage in the country, that he, the president, will lead the protest in one of the days, because this is something that he has been very vocal about, that the people, in fact, one of the statements he made before he eventually took the reign of power in Nigeria is that the poor on the land, that the poor should be allowed to breathe. The president should now know, right, that the Nigerian people, not just the poor, the rich, everyone is crying. There is no breath in our lungs. The hardship is suffocating Nigerians, and it is important that we embark on this peaceful protest. those who are saying that, oh, it shouldn't happen because the issue of violence and all of that, they should tell us. Maybe they are the ones plotting or planning the violence. What we are calling, or what Nigerians are embarking upon, is peaceful protest. And nobody should twist it around, except, of course, because we know by the history, we know the system, like NSAS that everybody is talking about. 10 days we were on the streets, in fact 12 days. Nigerian young people were on the streets across the nation. There was no violence. There was nothing like burning down the nation. Anywhere they gathered at that period, they fed themselves, they organized themselves, they cleaned up the environment and all of that, until the fifth columnist, which happens to be the government, we now saw that good laws were released against Nigerian young people.
Let the poor breathe. I remember that statement. But now both the poor, middle class and the rich are finding it quite hard to breathe. And on Tuesday, we went forward to discuss the ENUGU state demolition, and then we had reaction from no other person than Chijioke Edoga. This you would get by now.
You have to determine first whether there's a wrong thing going on. You also have to determine whether, if you have slept, for instance, if you have allowed a thing to go on forever, whether you have the moral or even the legal right to come back and say, oh, you've done the wrong thing. For instance, that even the zoo estate where the present governor lives, has his house, was a zoo. And when the animals were taken out and they all live there, somebody can come back in sometime in the future and say, oh, this was meant to be a zoo. Even the ShopRite was not meant to be a mall. You know, so there are things that if you have let them be for a time, then you just let them be, because the consequences of a reversal, of returning to the past, the effects of returning to the past, the dangers, the damages, when they outweigh the whatever you want to benefit from. In this case, maybe merely environmental, in the sense of the eye, what the eyes can see, or aesthetics, or ambience. And then when you put ambience alongside the human cost, the loss, the actual loss, the damages, the overall effect of your actions, then you have to put them on a balance. Which one outweighs, then decide what to do. But to answer your question specifically, I mentioned, for instance, that even if they are trying to, with regards to bigger markets, even if the government was trying to revert to its what it claims is a plan, that plan could not, the area where Ife transport stands could not by any stretch of the imagination have come under the markets, because that one stood apart from the market. So even if you could acquire the market, there was also a process. Even if you could destroy the Ife transport, there is also a process which the Land Use Act establishes. So, and you cannot now destroy people's property and convert them to private use. To answer your question again, if I was governor, I would have been sequential. In moving them, you must provide an alternative place. This place you have been for a long time is not good again for us. And you give them reasons why it's not good again for us. Then you give them an alternative site and give them time to move to that place. For instance, I know that there was a place earmarked for gradual reallocation of some parts of the market. Government should have first of all developed that place, properly acquired it, developed it, or prepared it, and then allocated, and make sure that movement was gradual. Government has done the same thing with regards to somewhere the movement of around Kenyatta area, those traders in Kenyatta area who were moved from Kenyatta to across the Port Harcourt Expressway. So it's not as if there's not a template for movement. In this case, in this particular one, Government was not procedural. Government was not humane. Government did not communicate, and government did not give alternative venues. You can as government, as an individual, you can decide to upgrade. You can decide to improve your environment. But with regards to what happened with the traders at Holy Ghost, at Obwete, at Gariki, if they had stayed there in breach and they wanted to reacquire, you have to give another place. You have to give time. You have to communicate. You have to inform. You have to sensitize. All these things were not done. Everything was collapsed. Everything collapsed under 1 or 2 months of peremptory governmental action and overreach. So I will itemize what I would have done differently, I hope. Where is the alternative side that's marked out? Adequate time is not just adequate time to pack and go. Adequate time is to pack and go to where? Do you understand what I'm saying? Adequate time has more than just adequate time. Adequate time to move to another side. Adequate time to prepare your finances. Adequate time to prepare your mind. Adequate time to move your goods. You saw the video of the BBC video of the woman at the orphanage who was lamenting, who was quite graphic in the way that little children were being taken away from their treatment pens, or even with treatment materials hanging around them and have been snatched away and blood everywhere and all that. You saw it. So where's that orphanage that was destroyed? Where is the replacement? What was just done was something that was horrid. So it's not, if there was adequate time, we all know we're not just talking for the sake of talking. The damage is there, and the damage is continuing. It's really a tragic issue. Tragedy is something that has happened, and its effect goes on and on and on. The fatalities are mounting. There was a knight of the Catholic Church who lives in Transikulu who was buried the other day. He's my friend. He died as a consequence of what happened. You've heard stories of body bags being moved into orthopedic hospital.
And that was some of the reactions coming from the gubernatorial aspirant of ENUGU State in the last general elections, Chijioke Edoga, on the consequences of the demolition and the importance to balance the need for aesthetics with the consequences of loss of property, and you heard from him live too. And moving ahead to Wednesday, we discussed the rising CBN interest rates, and we had an interesting guest in the studio to unpack this issue, Nick Ejule. He is an oil and gas expert. Do take a listen.
Indeed, you are right that the CBN has been increasing the interest rates, especially in recent Monetary Policy Committee meetings, very sharply. In terms of context, the last Monetary Policy Committee meeting that was held under the Godwin Emefiele's Central Bank was in July of 2023, and the interest rate was 18.75%. And the first meeting that has been held under the Yemi Cardoso's Central Bank was in February 2024. So for about a period of 7 months, there was no Monetary Policy Committee meeting, and the interest rate remained constant at 18.75%. Inflation was increasing, although not at the sharp rate it was increasing when we started to increase the interest rates. Now, from February 2024, when the first Monetary Policy Committee meeting, and for the benefit of our viewers, the Monetary Policy Committee is the one that takes monetary policy decisions, which includes interest rates, cash reserve ratios, ratios, asymmetric corridors, and all of that. We can explain some of those terms as we go on in the interview. So the first of these meetings, the new central bank governor, happened in February this year, 7 months after the last one was held. It then meant that the interest rate at 18.7%, which was set in July 2023, remained till February 2024. Now, from February 2024 to the last meeting that was held earlier this month in July, the Monetary Policy Committee has increased the interest rate by 8%. That is 800 basis points. So that is why the prevailing interest rate is 26.75%. So that is 18.75 that was there in July 2023 plus 8 is 26.75. This is a very astronomical and sharp increase in interest rates. And now you raise a very valid point. There's a trade-off when it comes to interest rates. So on the one hand, you want interest rates to be low so that producers of goods and services, including manufacturers and the real sector of the economy, we have access to cheap credit to expand output. It's when we expand output that the economy grows, because expansion in output brings about new jobs that are being created. If a manufacturer takes a loan and opens a new factory, then he will recruit more people, he will pay more taxes, and the economy grows. So usually you want interest rates to be low, which, like you rightly say, is what is obtainable elsewhere. Like here in the United States, where I'm speaking to you from, I'm actually in Dallas speaking to you, interest rate is sub 5%, the same in the UK and all that. But on the other hand, if you are facing inflation, then you need to increase interest rates. The idea is that inflation will be moderated if people decide that they are not going to consume, rather they will go and save. So by increasing interest rate, you make it very attractive if people go and put their money in the bank. And because that will impact on demand, by reducing demand, it will moderate inflation. However, there is a caveat with that economic policy. You have to first understand what are the drivers of inflation. So if the drivers of the inflation are that is too much money in circulation, chasing too few goods, then the policy of increased interest rate is the right one. That will be the textbook recommendation. Increase interest rate to mop up liquidity into the banking coffers, and that will greatly downplay demand, and then that will help inflation. But if the inflation is not driven by too much money chasing too few goods, and driven by other factors, for instance, in economics, in basic economics, price can increase as a result of two factors. One, if demand is more than supply, price will rise. But also, if supply falls, price will again rise, even if demand is same. So if the inflation is as a result of demand being more than supply, interest rate increase will deal with it. But if the inflation is as a result of supply falling, even when demand is not rising, then you cannot use interest rate to resolve that. Rather, you should even be looking at reducing interest rate so that you can deal with the supply deficit.
And of course, you can get the full interview on our YouTube channel at Signature TV, and even on every of our social media platform. And on Thursday, on a very sad note, we discussed the passing of a legend, both in entertainment, politics, and even in human rights, talking about Onyeka Onwenu, a very, very renowned human activist in Nigeria and the world at large. Somebody who people might say is good on all grounds. Here is the interview.
I would like to start by saying that Onyeka is one of the understood celebrities that I know. You have to be close to her to know that Onyeka is a very, very emotional person. You know, she has a heart of gold. She's I don't know. I'm still finding it difficult to refer to her in the past tense. You know, Onyeka was very, very hardworking, principled. She detested to be, to belittle her, to take her for granted. She never wanted that, but she had a heart of gold. Very, very industrious, creative. She was beautiful in and out. I think I don't know. I knew her we had a fantastic relationship, that spanned almost 25 years. The whole of those years, we only disagreed once. She told me something and I wrote about it, but she said she just told me just for me to know, not for me to write it. But eventually we were able to make up. We spoke last on Saturday. We were supposed to be somewhere. Then someone did something she didn't like, and she called me to complain and everything. And then she said I shouldn't just take it over. She was just telling me, So I had to let the matter rest there. But fantastic woman, hardworking, creative. What she did for the entertainment industry cannot be quantified. Multi-talented musician, actress, author, fantastic writer, activist. Anytime or anything you're doing, if you have Onyeka with you, you can go to bank with it, you can go home and sleep soundly. So I will really, really, really miss that. When I got married 19 years ago, she performed free of charge for me. All my events, she was always there. She was my first daughter's godmother. After her birth, I'm a Catholic, to travel from where she was staying there, in Okwebi to where I am. The distance is very, very far, but she was coming for catechism classes, I remember even after the arrival of my child, she called to say she wanted us to open an account for her. Then when the younger sister also arrived, she opened an account for that one. 2 months before her death, she called to say she wanted to give her goddaughter money, even the sister. She also gave to me and my wife. So the whole of yesterday, I didn't leave my bed. I just, I was just thinking and reminiscing on the. So she'll continue to live in our hearts. Onyeka never wanted to be disrespected, so I think people should come and carry themselves well. Onyeka knew what she wanted and went for it. Onyeka was very, very hardworking. Onyeka was very, very principled. Onyeka had her own challenges, but she bore them with equanimity. She kept them to herself. You had to be very, very close to her. You had to share some of those things with you. Then Onyeka excelled in what she was doing in all the fields, all the places where she spread her tentacles. She did very, very well. So I think those are my takeaways, from her life. And most importantly, she loved to sing. She sang till she breathed her past. So those are some of my fondest memories of her. The truth, I think the most fundamental thing is when you love people, let them know that you love them, that you appreciate them. In fact, I was reading one tribute, Ojo, I just didn't want to get into any unnecessary controversy. Someone that disrespected her, that she complained about, and the person was singing her praises on the I just didn't want to delve into all that, but I just shook my head and said, when you die, people will come out and begin to pontificate and begin to say, things they know in their heart of hearts are not true. So, but I think the most important thing is when you love someone, you need to let them know that you love them. You need to let them know appreciate them, because life itself is ephemeral. Nobody knows for how long we're going to be here. You know, like I think what Shakespeare said in Macbeth, that life is but a walking shadow. You know, a poor player that struts and frets. You know, something like that. Nobody knows when that fire extinguished. So the most important thing is those you love, try as much as possible to make them understand that you love them. In whatever way you can assist them, in whatever way you can support them, in whatever way you can impact their lives, you go ahead and do that, because nobody knows whose turn it's going to be next. And when it happens, everybody now begins to jump up and down and everything. So anything you want to do, you just do it and leave the rest for God.
Rest in peace, Onyeka Onwenu. Fare thee well, elegant stallion. I'm moving quickly to our discussion on Friday, hunger and hardship protest. And we had Elder Ngozika Ihoma come into the studio to talk to us about this. Stay tuned and hear what he had to say.
Protest, like I've said, comes in many versions. Some of us who know the law decided to use the law course, even though they have their challenges. Now, if you talk about Occupy Nigeria 2012, January, against the government of Goodluck Jonathan, former president, and this present one, the difference is that in 2012, it was a politically motivated protest. Nobody was complaining about hunger. It was about subsidy and pricing of petroleum. All right? But this one is a planned protest. Some people came out and gave a timeline. Gave about three weeks or thereabout. And when government tried to play some pranks, they hired their lawyers. Adeboye is a senior advocate of Nigeria. He came out, identified himself, and he has these clients, which includes Shawore's, what is it called?